All right, let me see if I can do this better this time. I tried to do a video a couple weeks ago and realized I said a lot in it and it sounded horrible. So retry. So this is for the double zipper pocket pouch. I have all my supplies ready. I have 2 zippers. I hope you can see this all. This is the fabric for the pocket. Then I have the lining front, if you will, that surrounds the zipper. The lining back. I have this pretty My Punk embroidery unicorn printed vinyl for the front. I'm going to use this strip in the middle and write something on it. And here's the back. And then I went ahead and prepared my little D-rings. If you have double-sided tape like Wonder tape, it's called Wonder tape, it'll save you some grief if you go ahead and just tape these together first. They'll hold together better when you tape them down. It's totally optional, but I happen to have some sitting there, so I did it, so they're already sitting together. I'm going to set these right here because the last time I lost them. Okay, and I have my hoop all ready. You see this is Pellon 360, and it's soft. It's perforated. It doesn't cleanly tear as much as the 806, but it's soft, so it doesn't give you that papery feel inside your bag. And disregard my dirty hoop. This is one of the newer hoops that I got with my new machine, my new to me machine, and they're a little dirty. I need to get them cleaned. So on my 6 needle here, you're going to see that I have my fast frame table. It helps stabilize the frame. There I said again, sorry. And this can get a little bit heavy with all the fabric and materials on it. I am doing the vinyl version here, not the fabric version. So pay attention to the instructions because with the fabric version, you will have to adjust the seams you cut, the size, and fold down the seam allowance into it. With the vinyl, you just use the dimensions that I have printed. I'm going to use pink and white thread. So I have my machine already threaded those colors. I'm going to pull up the design on my machine, and I'm going to have to rotate it, and you probably will have to do that as well. And the first thing I'm going to do is print out the zipper placement lines, and the black ones are for the inner and outer zipper. The pink lines are for placement of the vinyl. So it's kind of important to stitch those out a different color if you can, but if you do not have a multi-needle, don't waste your time swapping out the colors. Just get a marker and you can write it in afterwards, and I'll show you that. So let me go ahead and get started here. Oops, I want to do black. Glue stick, hot glue stick, and you will need tape. Tape. The one sheet of the printed vinyl from My Punk is not quite enough for the front. Maybe if you went with a little bit shorter seam allowances when you flip it. So what I chose to do is use one of the marine vinyls from My Punk in a coordinating color on the back, so it's not as expensive as the printed. So I used a slip of that for the middle so it kind of matches. You don't have to do it. You do whatever you want to do with your bag. And I could not figure out how to flip the selfie mode. So I'm filming this. I cannot see the screen. So forgive me in advance. I'm new to all of this. Hopefully you can hear me as well over this loud machine. Now I am using the original pattern that is designed for the larger 8x12 hoops. I went ahead and released the 6x10 that will fit in the 6-inch hoops. So your stitch out may look a little different than mine will. And I'm going to switch, and I'm going to switch to the pink because I can. And it just helps with the placement if you have different colors. I feel like I'm watching water boil here. It seems to be taking much longer than normal. And of course I normally don't babysit this. I put the pieces on and always doing other things in the background. Working on regular sewn zipper pouches. Preparing designs, new designs. So this is kind of anxious for me to sit here and just watch this. Okay, now it's done with the placement stitch. So what I want you to do is take this off the frame and grab yourself a marker, a dark one preferably, turn it over and draw the lines out for the zipper. You really only need the top one and bottom one, but I just draw them all just so I know what I'm working with. And this is going to help you later when you're putting the placement for the fabric for the zipper pouch and the lining. You can also take this time to extend the front lines if you need to for the vinyl. I don't think I need to, so I'm not going to do that. Now is the time you want to put this on a flat surface. You don't want to put any pressure on your stabilizer. So I take the glue stick and I just put a good amount. I've not had any issues with this at all. Stitching through it and then start laying my vinyl. Make sure if you are using a directional vinyl that you have it in the right direction. So let me pull this up and show it to you better. You want this vinyl to slightly cover that red stitch line or pink stitch line, whatever it is. You don't want to see it behind it. So I'm talking maybe a 1/16 of an inch. You want it to cover it. And this printed vinyl is not sticking as well as the other vinyls I've used. So I'm going to reinforce that with some tape. Other vinyls that I've used, like the luster and the fabric, I did not need to do this. The fabric glue held it down just fine. But we do what we need to do, right? All right. And just double check that it's like that all around. And this middle one is the most important one. There's not a lot of wiggle room there. And sometimes I cut it a little bit too wide, and you have to just center it between those two marks. It's okay if it's a little bit off. You see how that one is laying down in the middle better. And I try to make these dimensions so that there's no issue with running out of vinyl, but at the same time that you're not wasting any vinyl. And don't worry about the red lines, or pink in this case, showing through later, because you're actually going to cut that out when you cut out the zipper. So don't worry about that right now. And that line actually will help you pull out the stabilizer. And I can tell already I'm going to get the tape stuck in the stitches when it stitches this down, but that's okay. The zipper should cover it up. It's important that we have it all taped down so it's not going to stick up, especially on your single needle machines. You don't have as much wiggle room with that presser foot as we have with these 6 needle machines. I test my designs on a Janome 350, so it's been pretty revealing to me that I need to think about it from a single needle perspective, and I'm appreciative that I thought to buy that machine to do testing on. And always make sure you're putting your frame back in the same way. I usually have some tape on my frame to denote the front, because this big frame has a hinge on both sides. So, all right, I'm going to change it to pink because you want to match your color up to your vinyl. And this step is going to stitch down and hold the vinyl pieces in place. And you don't want to disturb the camera, but as you're stitching this, you want to make sure that you're catching the vinyl. And I'll show you when I'm hanging up. And if for some reason you don't have it lined up right and you don't see it stitching there, stop your machine immediately and readjust your placement. Let me show you what I mean. And you'll do this as well for the zippers. Let me show you what I mean. Right here, as soon as it starts stitching out, check and make sure that it's catching it all the way across. Then you know you lined it up well when you placed it. The middle one is the most important one, again, because there's not any wiggle room there, and you have to make sure that you have room for the zipper to get attached and to open and close when you're done. And I feel like I did not catch it on the top. Don't think I have it placed enough on the top. Oh, I do. Whoop. That was a little scary. And I can tell right here. See, let me see if I can cut this, and I'm going to show you. I messed up on purpose. Can you see right there? It's barely catching the vinyl, so I need to butt that down a little bit more. So that's why it's best to catch it right here at the beginning, so you can pull out the stitches, because those first few stitches are going to be covered up on the final stitch out. So I'm going to pull this up and adjust it down a little bit more. I just did not cover up that line well enough. Okay, think it's good now? This is actually, instructions are far more complicated than the actual pattern is. Backed up too many steps. And I did not tape this down well enough, but if you have a stiletto, you can kind of hold it in there, but don't ever put your finger in there. Don't do it. I forgot one time, and I put my finger in there, and it was not good. I'm very lucky that I did not end up in the emergency room. Did I really run out of bobbin? Okay. Normally my machine gives me a warning that that's going to happen. Don't know what happened today. But mental note, Kimberly, the next time you're doing a video like this, put in a new bobbin first. And it's nothing to worry about. This is just a tack down stitch. This stitch is not intended to be the functioning stitch for the bag. So if it does not restitch in the same place, it's fine. Back it up maybe 5 stitches. Only thing I do not like about this table is you cannot see the bobbin underneath it. I think there's a brother version that is open there. These machines are amazing if you have the budget to spoil yourself. Keep an eye out. This is my second used machine. Both times I got really, really good deals on them. Really good deals. And it's just such a nice thing to have to spoil yourself. I'm a software engineer, and this is all just kind of sideline work for me, and I just really want to make enough money to pay for my supplies and keep it going. My son is downstairs enjoying the fact that I'm doing this today, so he gets to be on the iPad. But that is a hard balance. I'm sure all you parents out there know, is to have a good balance of getting your craft on, but also spending time with your kid and taking care of your house. We're not clean people here, so we're not always worried about how our house looks. But my son is getting a little bit older now, and he's getting to the point now where he wants to have play dates. So he's like, Mom, we got to clean the house because my friends want to come over. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to clean. I hate cleaning. I'd rather do anything than clean. And in fact, we are trying to slowly purge a lot of stuff just so I can hire a cleaning person, because I hate cleaning so much. There you go. Okay, now, this is where you are going to stop. If you want to add any embellishments, do it now. Once we start adding the zipper, you won't be able to stitch down here. So just do it at this step. And I'm actually going to stitch out a word here. And I think I might actually stop the video and start again and list 2 videos, because that stitch out is going to take 5 minutes, and you don't want to sit here listening to me breathe for 5 minutes. And I'm going to switch to white. And ideally, you'd go in and change all the mappings of these colors, but I don't, because I want to stop at each step. It's important. It's designed that way for placement. Okay, I'm going to stop the video right now and be right back.